Rebecca Wallace had a successful career as an educator, teaching refugees English. Ambition and a desire to give her family the very best led her to leave her government job and move into the private sector. She transitioned into the telecommunications field in 2001, joining one of Australia's leading multinationals. And it was during this time that she recognised her love for the recruitment industry and her passion for helping people grow. Today, her multi-million-dollar business is a multi-award-winning organisation in a very competitive industry. A business development specialist, Rebecca has seen growth and success despite harsh economic conditions. It's my pleasure to welcome her here today.
Thanks, Susie.
Thanks for joining us. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to start this business. Was it a passion? Was it for practical reasons?
To be honest, it was very practical. I was actually really enjoying my career as an educator, but I live in the eastern suburbs. So it was really for practical reasons that I went into business, wanting to have a house and a yard and a dog for my only child. So we went into business, and I haven't looked back really.
So we've recently seen some tough economic times, and more organisations are probably letting people go than recruiting them. So you're in an industry that perhaps has been impacted. So what did you do different in your business to maintain business and to continue to grow?
It was definitely difficult. Our industry certainly suffered along with a lot of other industries in the GFC, but I thankfully managed to retain my people, and we did have modest growth in the GFC, which is certainly was a challenge. And I think what we did what every other organisation did and cut our costs. But it was very much about the attitude that we adopted as a company of we really try and maintain that abundance attitude, even in hard times. In that we knew that the work was out there, and we know what differentiates us in the market, and we certainly focused on that. And also we do supply into industries that were probably less affected than, say, the banking and finance industry.
You're obviously a very successful businesswoman. What would you say is the main skill and expertise that you bring to your business that makes the difference?
I am fantastic at business development, and I love it. So I certainly know the areas that I am weak in business, and I make sure that I hire the people around me that complement me. So it's recognising, I think, what I'm good at and what the areas that I need work, and making sure that my team complement that. I think that's probably what I do best.
How has, if at all, being a woman impacted the ease with which you've been able to grow your business within that industry?
The recruitment industry is a female-dominated industry. So, look, also a lot of my clients are women because HR in general are our client, and also dominated by women. So, I mean, I love doing business with women. I always feel that women support other women in business. I really feel supported. So I wouldn't say that I have had any challenges because of gender in growing my business. Certainly in the business community greater, I always look for support with my colleagues, my entrepreneurial colleagues. I probably tend to look to women to support me for advice rather than my colleagues, my male colleagues who are entrepreneurs. It's sharing and nurturing and the encouragement that I get from my colleagues, my female colleagues, I find different, I guess, and more supportive. So.
And you specialise in telecommunications and filling positions in that area. What trends are you seeing in regards to women applying for those sorts of roles?
Yeah, so traditionally the telecommunications industry is a male-dominated industry. Certainly my clients are looking for gender balance. So, you know, my clients can't ask for a female candidate. They certainly indicate that they would like to balance their teams in regards to gender. So I think the telecommunications industry is really changing, and I think it's a great opportunity for women to enter the business. It's a really interesting business, and women are really needed in that industry. We also supply scientists into agribusiness, and I'm seeing a lot more female scientists come through, so which is great.
That's great.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Now, you've been in business long enough to have had some really high highs and possibly some lows. So tell us a little bit about what perhaps your greatest points have been and what your biggest challenge has been.
Okay, we celebrate our wins pretty regularly at Launch. So I did my first acquisition in 2006 and it was very successful. We retained 80% of the acquired business and still with us today, that business. So that was fantastic, good experience for me. We just signed a massive piece of business that I know will sustain our organisation into the next stage. Okay. So we certainly celebrated that with a few glasses of champagne in the office. In regards to challenges, I think I've never led a team through a crisis like the GFC. It was certainly difficult. There were some hard decisions to make, hard business decisions to make, and people decisions to make that I really grew through that time. I think I'm a better manager, a better business manager now because of the crisis last year. And also I was given advice by many good advisors and peers to close one of my states down. We were certainly making a loss in one of our states. And I fought against that advice and kept that business open. And it was a really big deal for me to do that because most of the time I respect my advisors and I do listen, especially if it's coming from all different directions. But I really went with my gut on that one, and it was, as it turned out, thankfully, it was a very good decision for me and for the business. So I think that was a win, even though it was certainly a very difficult time. In the end, it came out as a win. So.
And so you're stronger and better for it.
Definitely, definitely a stronger manager. I think my team would say that. I hope my team would say that.
Very good. If you could give other women in business your very best business advice, what would you say?
The first thing is attitude for me. I am constantly in self-check of how I'm thinking about a topic, how I'm, you asked me the question, what am I best at? And I said business development. But I've always given myself that self-talk that business walks in the door for Launch Recruitment, I'll definitely get this deal. So I'm very conscious of my attitude and thoughts and the way I speak about everything within my business. So if I note that something's not going well, I check, how have I been speaking about that particular area of my business, and what are the thoughts around that particular area of business, and do I include that particular area of business in my daily goals? So it's first and foremost for me and for my team is attitude.
Anything else?
Secondly, good, clear goal setting. I learnt that very early on in my career, and I keep it with me. I'm a mad goal setter, and they're in my shower, they're beside my bed, they're in my wallet, and I change them regularly to reflect what's happening in my life, and they're SMART goals. So yeah, the specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. So goal setting is really important and has helped me all along the way. And probably the last thing I would say is to be careful about the business that you say yes to and the business that you say no to. I, in the start of business, would say yes to any business that walked in the door. It's difficult to say no to business at the beginning of business. But I learnt fairly quickly with certain trends that particular clients would have when they were negotiating to use our services, what was going to be a good business proposition for us as well as for my client. And so I've walked away from some fairly sizable deals over the past 5 years that in the end have been very good for my business. So just as much as it is the business that you chase, I think it is the business that you say no to is really important to business success.
You in your industry decided to specialise. How important do you think it is for people to choose a niche and be a niche type business?
Really important. That's been one of our, I think the reasons why we've been so successful are we're known as a specialist. Our clients love dealing with us because of that. Our people know their business well. It certainly served us well through the GFC. I think picking a niche is difficult to do, but certainly well worthwhile for business, and well has been for us.
Great. Yep. Thank you. We wish you every success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.